Earlier this year, the Obama administration called for the eradication of female genital mutilation and announced a major study measuring its prevalence in the United States. The traditional practice of female circumcision is carried out in 29 African countries, as well as among African immigrant communities in America. While Western leaders condemn the practice, traditional African communities say the custom plays a role in their culture. Andrew Thompson reports from Kenya.
Kanakan is getting married in a traditional Maasai ceremony in Kajiado County in Kenya's Rift Valley. Her 14-year-old younger sister Montanik watches on, knowing as a Maasai girl she's expected to follow in her footsteps, to undergo ritual circumcision before being married off. Emotions within the tribe run high. Kanakan won't see her family for at least a year, ensuring she breaks old childhood ties and settles into her new adult life in her husband's tribe. Montanik is poised to enter adulthood, but is distressed by the traditional Maasai initiation of female circumcision.
If my father says I must be circumcised, I will be circumcised. But for me, I don't want it to happen.
12-year-old Cassandra is also approaching womanhood, but unlike Montanik's parents, her parents believe female circumcision is cruel and a traditional custom that should be abandoned.
My mother, father, and I agree that circumcision causes girls many problems and difficulties.
While the Maasai's traditional lifestyle is held up proudly by Kenya and viewed with wonder by international tourists, the circumcision of girls, known as female genital mutilation by Western society but called emirata by the Maasai, has been criminalised by the Kenyan government since 2011 and is the focus of an intensifying global campaign to eradicate the practice, seen as dangerous, painful, sexually repressive and often carried out against girls' wishes. Earlier this year, hundreds of Maasai left their tribes, travelling miles here to Kajiado town to protest against the laws criminalising the practice. The protest was sparked when the guardians of a 13-year-old girl appeared at the local court charged with murder after the girl bled to death following a botched circumcision. Maasai elders say the circumcision of both girls and boys is an essential rite of passage, maintaining their unique culture in the face of encroaching westernisation. Naditi was once an Mgamratani. The grandmother was circumcising girls for years before she lost most of her eyesight.
The initiation is very painful, but it is over quickly. A small part of the body is cut and then some milk put on it, because when it's cut, it bleeds.
She says it's integral to the social order and structure of the tribe, with the period of circumcision determining levels of respect and how tribe members interact.
Circumcision to Maasai ladies is important, and it is something we can't leave. That is the culture of Maasai. If you are not circumcised, nobody will marry you. You will just be a useless person to the community. If we stop circumcision, there will be no respect within the tribe for the culture.
Montanik's dad, Siningo, believes in the practice, but says he won't force her into it.
If my daughter comes to me and says she doesn't want to be circumcised, I will not circumcise her. But for me, I want to circumcise my daughters. I don't want to stop it. I want it to continue because it is the Maasai culture from the beginning.
Montanik fears telling her father that she doesn't want to be circumcised.
Because there is a level of respect between a girl and a father. There are some things you can't tell your father. You must go through your mum.
Her mum, Pulkez, says she was circumcised at Montanik's age and wants the practice to continue.
We just want to follow our culture. The government doesn't want girls to be circumcised, but they can't stop it.
The pressure on the girls to undergo circumcision can be immense. Refusal brings shame on families. Some girls are ostracised and others forced to flee in fear of repercussions which can sometimes be violent. 10-year-old Jacqueline from another tribe has recently fled to a rescue centre for girls escaping the practice. She says she overheard her father saying he'd found a man for her to marry and he was starting to make preparations for her to undergo female genital mutilation. She ran away with a friend, escaping in a potato lorry, but is now cut off from her family. Back in Kajiado County, Cassandra is adamant she won't be circumcised.
I'm refusing to be circumcised because you can die. There is a lot of bleeding. The person who does circumcision uses one razor blade to circumcise everybody. I could get AIDS.
However, unlike many other girls, she has the strong support of her mother, kindergarten teacher Shatina.
I am wearing my ornaments. I'm keeping my cattle at home, sheep and goats. And I have not lost my culture, and I don't circumcise the girls.
As the sun sets over the Maasai plains, Naditi lays her grandchildren down to bed for the night. She's close to her young granddaughters now, but may eventually be torn apart as they grow into a society that's inevitably changing, one she says she's finding difficult to accept.